Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. We're going to take a break from the baseball diamond tonight to venture back to the Marvel Comics universe for a session of Marvel Champions from Fantasy Flight. As the name suggests, we're in control of 1 to 4 heroes in the Marvel Comics universe with decks built around them. Tonight we also have a new hero who's joining our entourage, but let's start off introductions by meeting our adversary. With the new hero joining the entourage tonight, I didn't want too difficult an adversary in theory, so we're going to go up against a familiar foe tonight, as once again, Crossbones is rearing his ugly mug to try to stop us. Schemes for 1, attacks for 1 with a special effect. While Crossbones has a weapon attachment, his attacks gain piercing. Discard any tough status cards from the target before dealing damage. I consider myself a craftsman. I specialize in destruction and terror. Hit points 12 per, since we of course control 2 heroes, that will be 24 health. And the initial scheme is attack on Mount Athena. All the contents are all set up, everything's ready to go there. The experimental weapons deck is ready as well. We'll see that when we move over toward the main player area. But let's move over and meet our heroes, and we'll start off with one of our familiar faces. We have the ever-familiar Jean Grey, who flips into Phoenix, and we'll see that later on in the game. But we'll take a look at Jean Grey for now. Recovers for 3, hand size of 6, 9 HP. Mutant Psionic. Setup. Put your Phoenix Force upgrade into play, restrained side face-up with 4 counters on it. Response. After you make a basic recovery, place 1 power counter on Phoenix Force. So let's take a look at Phoenix Force with the 4 counters on it. Permanent, you gain the Restrained trait. Forced response. After the last power counter is removed from here, flip this card. And of course we've got 9 HP for her dial, which is already set. So now we're all set with Phoenix. Now let's go meet our debuting heroine. As the mat and the sleeves suggest, we are welcoming Black Widow to the entourage. As always, deck lists will be in the description down below. Let's take our first look at Black Widow's alter ego. Natasha Romanoff recovers for 3, hand size of 6, 9 hit points. Her special ability is Mission Prep on this side. Response. After you play a preparation card, draw 1 card. Limit once per phase. This is my mission, and I will succeed. Well, we'll find out soon enough. We're charged with getting Crossbones under control. With that, let's move up top to check out our shot and get everything set up. Everything's all set here, so let's flip over the first scheme and see what we've got here. This flips into attack on Mount Athena. Crossbones is leading an army of Hydra soldiers in a direct assault on the Project Pegasus facility in the Adirondack Mountains. When revealed, reveal the top card of the experimental weapons deck. Need 3 per or 6 per threat. It doesn't start with any, but it'll get 2 on the start of each villain phase. So our first weapon is a laser rifle, +1 attack. Forced interrupt. Whenever the attached villain attacks, the attack gains ranged. As a hero action, we can spend energy and combat resources to discard this card. So Crossbones already has piercing. Question is, do we have the resources to get rid of it? Phoenix does. How about Natasha? She also does. So that might be something we want to consider. We'll give that a little bit of thought, though. Anyway, I think we're all set to get into this game, so let's jump in. Phoenix will be our first player, so let's move down to Phoenix's play area. Looking at Phoenix's opening hand, a little early setup wouldn't be a terrible idea. So I'm going to spend Phoenix... No, I'm not going to spend Phoenix Suit. I'm going to spend Chase Them Down and Telepathic Trickery for 2 resources. As you can see, resources down in the lower left corner are on the player cards. You can spend those for resources for your cards. And we'll go ahead and play a White Hot Room. It's a support. As an alter ego action, we can exhaust White Hot Room to choose one of the following. Either to put a power counter on Phoenix Force or heal 2 damage from Jean Grey. So that gives us a way to heal without potentially putting a counter on Phoenix Force, which I'm actually going to grab my special exhaustion tokens. They work very well for the card game, but they can actually be used for Arkham Horror, the card game, but they can be used here as well. So opening the closet door, grabbing the counter tray in question, closing the closet door. We don't need to exhaust it right now, but what we will do is we'll actually go ahead and flip Jean Grey into Phoenix. Thwarts for 3, attacks for 1, defends for 2, hand size of 5, Psionic Bond, hero resource. We can remove 1 power counter from Phoenix Force to generate a wild resource. Limit once per phase. So, I think with that in mind, we're going to spend a resource from Phoenix Force and She-Hulk. Yep, we're going to spend She-Hulk to play out Psychic Assault, to do 3 damage to Crossbones and confuse him. So that'll bring Crossbones down to 21 and confuse him right off the bat. I don't think I don't think he's going to be scheming this phase, but it is good to keep an eye on that, on his health. So I'll then use Phoenix to attack, basic attack for another 1 to bring him down to 20. That will do it for Phoenix. Now let's move over to Natasha Romanoff. Natasha Romanoff doesn't seem to have much to do right now, except to get her own double monkey backflips on as she flips in to Black Widow, 2s across the board. Widowmaker, response. After you trigger the ability of a preparation card you control, deal 1 damage to an enemy. My name is Madame Natasha, but you can call me Black Widow. Alright, now that we're flipped over, we're going to spend both of her... Actually, we're going to play a Moxie. After you change form, your hero gets +1 thwart, +1 attack, and +1 defense until the end of the round. If you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. Even if I'm the last one. Nova. So until the end of the round. That's important to note, because that boosts everything for Black Widow across the board, which she'll basic attack Crossbones to bring him down to 17. And then we're going to spend her other Moxie, Grappling Hook, and Safe House number 29 to play Dance of Death. It's an event. We can make the following 3 attacks in order. Deal 1 damage to an enemy, deal 2 damage to an enemy, and deal 3 damage to an enemy. That sure sounds like 6 to Crossbones to me, which will bring him right off the bat down to 11, and we're already just about to flip Crossbones over into Phase 2. But that will do it for Black Widow as well. So now let's move back up top and get ready for the villain phase. Black Widow proving impressive in her debut. So we'll ready everything up, and then we'll have an opportunity to discard cards. I think Phoenix is happy with her hand, so she's going to draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's actually really interesting. Black Widow is also happy with her hand, so she'll draw 4 cards as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. That's interesting-ish. Okay, so now we're into the villain phase, which means we'll put 2 threat on attack on Mount Athena at the start of the turn. He'll be attacking against both of us. So Phoenix will get a boost card. She will not defend. So she'll be getting hit for 2 plus 1, so 3 damage to Phoenix, which will bring her down to 6. We might, well, depending on what happens, we might need to flip and heal. Black Widow will also be getting attacked as well, and like Phoenix, well, Black Widow has 3 defense this round, and I think she I think she'll defend. So she's getting hit for 2 plus nothing, so cancel out the damage completely. Then we'll deal out encounter cards. The encounter card in front of Phoenix. Hydra's Sidearm, +1 attack. Forced interrupt. When the attached villain attacks, the attack gains ranged. We have to spend a mental and a combat resource to discard this card. So we're probably going to need to start dealing with some of these weapons. And then Black Widow will draw a Hydra Bomber. When revealed, choose to either take 2 damage or place 1 threat on the main scheme. Well, I know that if you cut off 1 head, 2 more will take its place. But what if it blows up instead? She-Hulk. Well, we're probably going to find out, but that doesn't really solve our problem right now of what do we do with that Hydra Bomber. I think we're going to take the 2 damage. I may need to flip Black Widow this turn, but we're probably fine for the time being. So I think with that in mind, we're going to move the first player icon token over to Black Widow. She will be our first player, and we'll move into a new hero phase. Taking 3+ card and then 1 damage from the Hydra Bomber on top of that is not an idea I'm in love with. So I'm going to avoid doing that, and the way I'm going to avoid doing that is Black Widow's probably going to end up flipping this turn, but I'm going to spend Winter Soldier, Get Ready, and Effective Leadership to play out, here it is, another Dance of Death. We saw this earlier, which we used to do 6 damage to Crossbones. So to make the following 3 attacks in order, we're going to do 1 damage to Crossbones to bring him down to 10. 2 damage to the Hydra Bomber, tell him to get bent. And then another 3 damage to Crossbones to bring him down to 7. And then I think Natasha will flip, mostly so we can buy ourselves a little bit of time. That will do it for Black Widow. Now let's move over to Phoenix. I definitely want to start getting rid of these weapons. So I think with that in mind, I'm going to spend Phoenix Suit and do I want to spend the Psychic Assault or the Psychic Blast? I think the Psychic Assault is probably more valuable, because keeping him confused and off scheming is probably a better idea. So I'm going to spend these to get rid of the Laser Rifle, and that goes to the encounter discard pile now. Then actually, you know what? No, I'm going to spend the Risen from the Ashes instead, but I'm going to end up at in the same place. Then I'm going to spend a resource from Phoenix Force, if I can ever get it in the right place. And do I want to spend the Power of Aggression? You know what? I don't think I do, actually. I'm not going to spend anything this turn. Instead, I'm going to thwart for... Do I want to thwart, or do I want to... I could theoretically get rid of that sidearm as well this turn if I want to spend my Power of Aggression, which I'm not in love with doing that, but it could help us keep Crossbones under control, especially since Natasha is likely to be remaining... she's already on her alter ego side. The question is, where do I think Phoenix is going to end this turn? You know what? I think we are going to spend the Phoenix Force, and we're going to spend the Psychic Assault to play a Psychic Blast to deal 4 damage to the villain. If we have the Unleashed trait, deal 4 damage to each minion engaged with you. We fight on different battlefields. Your strength won't help you in mine, Phoenix. Alright, so that's another 4 damage to Crossbones, which means we should be ready to flip him over on our next turn. We're going to move through that very quickly. Question is, do I want to attack again, or do I want to thwart this scheme off? Or do I want to thwart the threat off the scheme, keep that down? That way, if we get a surprise scheme out of the encounter deck, if you get a surprise scheme out of the encounter deck, we're not flipping that over right away. Well, I know he's already not scheming against Black Widow because we confused him. I think we're going to go ahead and... I think pretty much any attack card that we draw from Phoenix, she'll be our first player next round. We'll flip Crossbones over, so I do need to keep that in mind. I think we're going to thwart the threat off the scheme, off the main scheme, just to keep that clear. I don't want to get any surprises there, and I'm going to leave Phoenix in hero form. That way we don't run through the scheme. That way we don't run through getting surprise threat. So that will do it for Phoenix. Now let's move back up top to get ready for the villain phase. Both of our ladies will ready up. Looking at Black Widow's hand, I'm happy with her hand, so she'll draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, since she's on Alter Ego now. That's not great. And then Phoenix is happy with her hand, so she'll draw 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I think we can probably work with this. Alright, so with that, now we're into the villain phase. 2 threat on the main scheme. He would try to scheme against Black Widow, but he's confused, so the confused goes away. He's attacking Phoenix. Phoenix is taking 2+ card. She will not defend, so she's looking at 2+2. Ouch, that's 4 damage. That's bad. Phoenix is going to need to flip this turn. Phoenix is going to need to flip and heal desperately this turn. So now we get encounter cards out. First up for Black Widow we find Weapon Master. When revealed, the villain schemes. If they have a weapon attachment, this card gains Surge, and Crossbones does have a weapon attachment. So he'll scheme again. He'll scheme for 1+... Nothing is 1. So that brings us up to 3 threat, which is not completely unwelcome. But because Crossbones has a weapon attachment, the card gains Surge. So Black Widow draws again. She will draw. Concussion Grenade. When revealed, you're confused. Place 1 threat on the main scheme, 2 instead if you are already confused. So, right, Alter Ego, she's confused. And we put another threat on the main scheme to bring us up to 4 threat. Then Phoenix finds Raid the Armory, Incite 1. When this card is revealed, place 1 threat on the main scheme. So we'll put a threat up on the main scheme. And then when revealed, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a weapon attachment is discarded. Reveal that card. Oh, that's going to be a problem because we're getting another weapon on Crossbones. All right, so we discard, side scheme. No, we're looking for a weapon here. Oh, great. Crossbones is Machine Gun. Attached to Crossbones, uses 2 per player ammo counters. Forced Interrupt. When Crossbones attacks you, remove 1 ammo counter from this card and discard the top card of the encounter deck. Take indirect damage equal to the number of boost icons on the discarded card. Oh, delightful. Just what we wanted to see. Another weapon attachment. Although, I'm poo-pooing that, but it's kind of a good thing, as we'll see very shortly. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself on that front. So we've got the 4 counters there. That could have been a lot more catastrophic than I expected it to be. But that is it for for Crossbones' turn, let's move down to Phoenix into a new hero phase. We can definitely flip Crossbones over if we want to this turn. The question is, do I want to? Phoenix is at 2 health, so that's a thing we need to consider. I am going to go ahead and get rid of that Hydra sidearm, I think. So I'm going to spend a mental resource from No Quarter and a resource from Phoenix Force to get rid of the Hydra sidearm, because I don't want to be taking more damage from that. Then I think Phoenix is going to attack for... Actually, she's going to thwart for 2 to try to keep this... Actually, she's going to end up in Alter Ego anyway. And no, that's a terrible idea. Because I'm thinking she's going to need to heal pretty badly this turn. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to... Yeah, she's definitely got to flip this turn. So I think with that in mind, she's going to discard power. She's going to pay Power of Aggression, Relentless Assault, and Phoenix Firebird to play out Cyclops, Scott Summers. Thwarts for 2, attacks for 2, and takes a consequential damage back either way. 3 health. Response. After Cyclops enters play, place 2 counters on Phoenix Force. Forced Interrupt. Once Cyclops leaves play, remove 2 counters from Phoenix Force. So we'll put the 2 counters back on there. Then Cyclops will attack for 2, taking 1 damage back. That'll bring Crossbones down to 1. Come on, focus. There we go. Oop, other way, Phoenix. There we go. Then Phoenix will flip back into Jean Grey. A, to get a refill on the hand, and B, so I can do some much-needed healing. I'll heal for a total of 5 damage because I'm going to exhaust the White Hot Room as well. So we're going to heal Phoenix for 5. It will put another power counter back on Phoenix Force, but at this point, that close to death, I don't have the luxury of caring. So that's it for Phoenix. That's everything she's got. Now let's move over to Black Widow. I forgot to move the token over, but Phoenix is our first player this round. So I think what we're going to do here is Natasha's going to flip into Black Widow. Then she's going to basic thwart to get rid of Confused. Then she's going to pay a Get Ready to put Inspired on Cyclops. Attached to an ally, max... Let's bring it over here. Attached to an ally, max 1 per ally. Attached to ally gets +1 thwart and +1 attack. I'm glad she's on our side. Star-Lord. Actually, that might be a... No, she's not going to be attacking Phoenix anyway, so I don't really care about that. Then, now that we've cleared the Confused out of the way, we're going to pay the Power of Leadership. Oh, cripes. I'm not going to be able to do that, am I? Because I'm not paying for a black card with that. Well, that's a problem. Yeah, that was actually kind of bad. You know what? Change of plans. I'm not going to do the inspired play. What I'm going to do instead is I'm actually going to pay the inspired instead, along with Get Ready and Inspiring Presence, to play Covert Ops, Thwart as an action. Remove Thwart threat from a scheme and confuse the villain. It's all about calculating how willfully blind a person is going to be, and then exploiting that. Natasha Romanoff. So fortunately, we're going to stop the scheme from flipping over this turn and confuse Crossbones. Unfortunately, it is going to mean Black Widow's taking Crossbones' machine gun to the face. Although I could throw Cyclops in the way of that for her, which might not be a completely terrible idea. So That's definitely a thought that we could. That's definitely a thought we could have. But that will do it for. Let me look. Yep, that will do it for Black Widow. So now let's move back up top to get ready for the villain phase. We'll go ahead and ready everything here. Then Phoenix's hand is completely empty, and since she's on Alter Ego, she'll draw 6 cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. That's moderately interesting. And then Black Widow, looking at her hand, she's going to discard this Band Together, which is kind of useless right now, and draw 4 cards. She's not getting to any of her allies. 3, 4. Oh, there's one. Okay. Alright, Crossbones. Now we move into the villain phase next. Crossbones will scheme for 2 threat. Put 3 up on the main scheme. He would be scheming against Phoenix, but he's confused, so that just removes confused. Black Widow, he's attacking Black Widow. So I think I will have her... I'm going to have her defend, since I'm pretty sure the machine gun is going to do Mondo damage here. So let's see what flips over. Crossbones is attacking for 1+ card. Black Widow defends for 2. And nothing, so Black Widow cancels the attack. But we have to discard an ammo from Crossbones' machine gun for an attack from that. We flip a card and deal damage equal to the number of boost icons on it to Black Widow. She will be taking... She'll be taking 1 damage. That could have been a lot worse. So Black Widow is down to 6. Alright, then we'll deal out encounter cards. Phoenix's encounter card is up first. Crossbones' armor. Oh joy. +1 scheme, +1 attack. Forced interrupt. When Crossbones would take any amount of damage, place it here instead. If there's 5 or more damage here, discard Crossbones' armor. Bask in the glow, babe. Crossbones, shut up, you pig. Black Widow will draw. Another Hydra soldier, guard. While this minion is engaged with you, you can't attack the villain. When defeated, deal the engaged player an encounter card. Schemes for 1, attacks for 2, has 4 health. And yeah, that's going to be a problem. And Black Widow just had to defend against an attack. Delightful. Okay, well, with that in mind, Black Widow is our first player, so let's move down into Black Widow's area. Phoenix can deal with that Hydra soldier in a really cool way, so we're going to see that. Anyway, with that in mind, we're going to pay a grappling hook for a mental resource to play out Widow's Bite. It's a preparation tech. After a minion enters play, discard Widow's Bite. Deal 2 damage to that minion and stun it. Nighty-night, Black Widow. Alright, then response, after you trigger the ability of a preparation card you control, deal 1 damage to an enemy. So we haven't triggered that yet. Next, we're going to pay a ready for action for a mental resource to play out Stinger, Cassie Lang. Thwarts for 1, attacks for 1, takes 1 consequential damage back either way, 2 health. Play only if your identity has the Avenger trait, and it does. Stinger doesn't count against your ally limit. Alright, then I'm going to use Stinger to attack Crossbones for 1 and flip him over to phase 2. That should be on Stinger. Because while Black Widow can't attack the villain, it doesn't say anything about allies not being able to. At least that's the assumption I'm going to make. Let me see if it's referenced in here. It's a keyword. That player can't attack villains without this keyword. The way I'm going to rule that, and somebody can correct me in the comments section below if I'm wrong, but that only affects my character's attacks. Allies can still attack the villain. So that'll flip Crossbones over into phase 2. Once again, he's now schemes for 2. Actually, oh, wait. That doesn't do anything to him. So that will actually flip. So that'll actually put 1 damage on Crossbones' armor. I forgot completely about that. Alright, we need to get rid of that thing pronto. But I think Phoenix has a solution to that little dilemma. And I think Black Widow's also going to flip. Mostly so I can get a refill of her hand. That's it for Black Widow. Now let's move over to Phoenix. We're going to start off by exhausting the White Hot Room to bring Phoenix back to full health. So that'll bring her up, come on, to 9. Then here's where the fun begins. We're going to pay an Energy for 2, a Soul Sisters for 3 because she's teamed with Black Widow tonight, not Storm, and Telepathic Trickery to play Mind Control. It's an upgrade. Attached to a non-elite minion, conditioned psionic, and the Hydra Soldier is not elite. Take control of attached minion as treated as a controlled ally with a blank text box. Its thwart is equal to its printed scheme, and it takes 1 consequential damage after it attacks or thwarts. So we'll attach that to the Hydra Soldier, and now we've got an ally, another ally under our control. I'll have them both attack, which they'll both take a consequential damage back, but Crossbones' armor is now gone. So that is very much welcome there. Let's see, then what do we want to do here? Do I think I'm okay flipping Jean Grey into Phoenix? I think I am, actually. I think we are going to flip her into Phoenix, and I can use either one of her allies as a meat shield this turn. So, with that in mind, now that she's flipped, now I'm going to attack Crossbones for 1. Now I'm going to turn him into phase 2. So let's take a look at Crossbones as phase 2. Now he schemes for 2, attacks for 2 plus card. Still has the weapon attachment. And here's why I'm okay with Crossbones' machine gun coming out early. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for Crossbones' machine gun and attach it to Crossbones. Shuffle the encounter deck. Well, we didn't need to search anything for it, but we're still going to go ahead and give the encounter deck a shuffle. Since it technically says, hey, search it for it. It doesn't make much sense to shuffle the deck when you didn't need to search it in the first place, but no help for that at this point. And then I'll reset his health here in a second. Okay. Alright, so he goes up to 28 health, 14 per. Last I checked, 14 times 2 is 28. But I don't think math's changed since I took it many years ago. Anyway, with that in mind, I think we're going to pay the no quarter and a resource off Phoenix Force to play out Psychic Blast to deal 4 damage to a villain. We saw this earlier. So that'll bring Crossbones down to 24. And I just want to double check indirect damage. I believe that's got to be spread out as much as... I believe that's got to go to allies. Must be split among all characters. Okay. Can't be assigned more damage than would defeat it. That makes sense. Alright, so with that in mind, I think that will do it for the hero phase. Now let's move back up top and get ready for the villain phase. Everything will ready up, including our handy-dandy little Hydra Soldier there. Natasha Romanoff is happy with her card, so she'll draw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere-ish. Okay, Phoenix is completely empty-handed, so she will draw 5 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's interesting as well. Alright, now we're into the villain phase proper. We're up to 5 threat on the scheme. We're going to be flipping that over here in a second, as he's scheming against Natasha against Black Widow for 2+. 4 threat. I am not at all sorry to see Shadows of the Past go away. So we are advancing the scheme at this point, so we're heading into 2A. The Infinity Stone. Inside the Project Pegasus facility, S.H.I.E.L.D. agents fight desperately to prevent Hydra from obtaining the Reality Stone stored within. Our actual scheme, 6 per, needs 12 to flip, and we start with 2. When revealed, reveal the top card of the experimental weapons deck. Oh, this is going to hurt Phoenix. So we'll leave 2 there. That can come out of the way. And then the top card of the experimental weapons deck. Exosuit. Oh, great. Attach to the villain. Spend 1 of each resource as a hero action to discard this card. I never should have shared my tech with S.H.I.E.L.D. Tony Stark. No duh, Tony. Okay, I think with that in mind, Crossbones is attacking Phoenix, and she's looking at Cyclops and saying, "Hi, Meat Shield." She is definitely throwing Cyclops in the way of this, mostly to get rid of 2 counters off of Phoenix Force. So this will be 3+, another 1 for 4. So yeah, Cyclops is definitely gone. And that'll remove 2 counters from Phoenix Force. Which we also have to use an ammo from Crossbones' machine gun. I was just double checking indirect damage. But all that means is that we have to split it. So we've already discarded another card, so we'll flip this over and we'll see what we have to assign. 1 damage. I think Phoenix can take that herself. That's very fortunate there. We definitely need to get rid of that well, we might be able to win through that exosuit, but we'll have to see how things unfold. We've got encounter cards to deal with. First up for Black Widow, we will find... Oh no, Burning Hunger. All right, this goes to the Jean Grey player, so this is going to Phoenix. When revealed, if you have the Unleashed trait, which we do not, if you have the Restrained trait, remove 1 power counter from Phoenix Force, and this card gains Surge. Discard this card. So we remove a counter from Phoenix Force, which this has got Surge, so this is still Black Widow's card. But first, we're going to flip Phoenix Force to its Unleashed side. Phoenix gets -2 thwart and +2 attack. Forced response. After a power counter is placed here, if there are 4 more power counters here, flip this card. But on that note, Burning Hunger surges for Black Widow into Hard as Nails. Treachery. When revealed, give the villain a tough status card. If you can't, heal 3 damage from it instead. So Crossbones now has a tough status, which is not good. Tough is basically the same thing as Confused for damage. The next time this character would take any amount of damage, discard this status card instead. And then Phoenix finds a side scheme. Crossbones is Assault. Crossbones is a heartless killer, but he's not a psychopath. His assault on Pegasus is ruthless and efficient. When defeated, Crossbones activates against the player who defeated this scheme. 4 threat, and it's got an acceleration icon, which means we're putting extra threat up at the start of the villain phase. So we may need to try to get rid of that. The question is, do we just start racing at this point? Honestly, we might. We might just want to start racing at this point. I'll have to give that a little bit of thought, but that will do it for... That'll do it for the villain phase. Phoenix is our first player, so let's go into the next hero phase. We're going to take a pretty sizable bite out of Crossbones' health this turn. We're going to start by using the Hydra Soldier to ping the tough status clear. Then we're going to spend an Into the Fray one by one and chase them down to play a telekinetic attack. As a hero action, we can deal 7 damage to an enemy. If you have the Unleashed trait, this attack deals 2 additional damage and gains Overkill. Poor fool. You have no idea how hopelessly outmatched you are. Phoenix. No bonus points for guessing who we're aiming that at. We're aiming that at Crossbones, of course. So that'll deal him actually 9 damage because we are unleashed. That'll bring him down to 15. Then we're going to use Phoenix to attack for another 3 to bring Crossbones down to 12. Then she's going to flip, and then we're going to exhaust White Hot Room to put a counter on Phoenix Force. We don't need to be worried about that until it gets up to 4. We got to take a consequential damage for the Hydra Soldier since he actually did attack. That will do it for Phoenix. Now let's move over to Black Widow. I'm probably going to have to throw Stinger in the way of an attack this turn. So, I think with that in mind, actually we're going to spend a Get Ready to play out Ready for Action. To give an ally I control a tough status card. Try that again. I dare you. Jessica Drew. So we're going to give Stinger a tough status card. That way I can throw her in front of Crossbones' next attack. Then we're going to spend an Inspiring Presence since my identity does not have the Avenger trait. We're going to play Black Widow's Gauntlet. As a resource, exhaust Black Widow's Gauntlet to generate a wild resource for a preparation card. Not only are they lethal, but they look good too. Black Widow. And since we played a preparation card, we get to draw a card. Let's see. That is not preparation, unfortunately, and we're 1 resource short from being able to play it. So that's very unfortunate. But I will flip over into Black Widow and then attack Crossbones for another 2 to bring him down to 10. I'm not as tempting as it would be to attack with Stinger. That would just remove the tough status card, and I'm probably going to need that for Crossbones' attack, so I'm not going to use that right now. With that all done, I think we're going to go into the villain. I think we're going to move back up top and get ready for the villain phase. We'll go ahead and ready everything up here. Take a look at Phoenix's hand. She's happy with that, so she'll draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As long as nothing stupid happens as long as nothing stupid happens here, and actually even if something stupid does happen, we may be able to kill Crossbones through it. As for Black Widow, she's going to discard Inspiring Presence and draw 3 cards. 2 and 3. Yeah, we may be able to recover from this anyway. Alright, villain phase. We put 3 threat up on the main scheme because of the acceleration. Phoenix is our first player. He's scheming against Phoenix for 3 plus a card, so 3 plus 1 is 4. So that's going to bring us up to 8, 10 threats. So we're probably flipping the Infinity Stone over. Actually, assuming you don't get a surprise scheme out of the encounter deck and encounter cards, we shouldn't flip that over this turn. He will be attacking Black Widow, though. And this is why I gave Stinger the tough status card, because we were going to throw her in the way of this. So he's attacking for 3 plus 1 is 4, aka Stinger loses their tough status card. That's not that catastrophic in the grand scheme of things. Here's where we could still get blindsided, though. Assuming nothing crazy happens here, I think we just win the... I think we're going to win the game on our next turn. So, Jean Grey will reveal Hydra Soldier. Same thing that she's got under mind control, but actually that might be a little bit of a problem, but probably not a big one. Actually, what we can do here is we can actually discard Widow's Bite from Black Widow. We'll deal him 2 damage and stun him. So he'll go nighty-night, but we still are going to need to take him out very quickly. As for Black Widow's encounter card, she will find Burn Notice. Oh no. Give to the Natasha Romanoff player. You may flip to alter ego form, choose. Either exhaust her to remove this card from the game, or discard the preparation card you control with the highest cost. If you cannot, this card gains Surge. Discard this obligation. Well, I think with that in mind, I am going to flip and exhaust to remove that from the game. I don't completely care about that because I think we're still going to just winning the game here. We managed to survive, but we do have that Phoenix is going to be probably going to be the heroine of the day, but we need to get rid of that. We need to get rid of that tough. Actually, that tough status. How did he get a tough status card? I don't think he should have had a tough. Oh, no. He should have had a stun on him because we used the Widow's Bite, which reminds me, Black Widow was still on hero, so we deal 1 damage to an enemy when we activate a preparation, which I think we'll put that on... Actually, do we want that on... I think we're going to put that on Crossbones. I'm looking at something here. Yeah. We're going to put that on Crossbones. Okay. Now that we've got that sorted out, first player will move back over to Black Widow, and let's get ready for what's going to be the last round of the game. No spoilers there. Before we deal with all of that, I almost forgot that we do need to flip over a card for Crossbones' machine gun before we get into Black Widow's turn. So she would take indirect damage from this. Throat's getting a little dry. So the card for the ammo is a 1 which Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow can take that herself. Not a problem. Okay, with that now sorted out, we're going to pay double power of leadership to play out Beast. Thwarts for 2, attacks for 2, takes a consequential damage back either way. Response. After Beast enters play, search your deck and discard pile for a resource card and add it to your hand. Shuffle. Oh my stars and garters. 3 health. Search your deck and discard pile for a resource. I don't think we're going to need it, but do we have another power of leadership in... Actually, I think we're going to take... what do I even want here? I don't think it really matters what resource card I take. Yeah, no, I don't really particularly care what resource I take here. I guess I'll take effective leadership because why not? I'm not really that concerned with what resource card we grab here anyway, because we are just ending the game this turn. Okay, I think with that in mind, Stinger is going to attack, deal a damage to Crossbones, which will discard her. That's not that catastrophic in the grand scheme of things. Then we're going to exhaust Beast to do what? Do I want to take out the... Yeah, I think we're going to take out the Hydra Patroller, the Hydra Soldier, that's on Phoenix, because we need Phoenix free to be able to attack Crossbones for the win. Which I think that will do that. That will do it for Black Widow. So now let's go finish the game with Phoenix. Phoenix's first order of business is going to be doing her double monkey backflips into Phoenix. Then she's going to spend her last resource from Phoenix Force and her strength to play her other telekinetic attack. She's aiming this at Crossbones for a total of 9 damage, which will bring him down to -1, but of course 0 is as low as we can go. Still, that's good enough for the win, so let's move back up top to wrap this video up. I'm pretty sure Phoenix once again carried the day here, but that will do it for this playthrough of Marvel Champions. Busy weekend coming up on the channel. Saturday, Mystical Munchies will finish out of the Cooking for Wizards, Warriors, and Dragons cookbook with the dessert, Runaway Fruit Tarts. Sunday, we're going to start my Tack Up Wargaming list for 2024 with the first game. In honor of Admiral Chester Nimitz's birthday on Saturday, we're going to play Fleet Commander Nimitz from DVG. Next week, we'll feature our last game of the month as we play Glory Days Boxing from Sideline Strategy Games. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.